What's going on, everybody? Top 10 Pokemon here, and today we are going to review the age-old question, which cards are better? Shining Pokemon, Crystal Pokemon, or the Gold Star Pokemon cards? Now, to those of you who already are, seasoned investors and know this market as well as I do, you already know the answer to this, but I still think it's going to be a lot of fun to categorize these cards via tiermaker.com using this tier list and see which ones reign supreme. If you are a fan of tier lists or top 10 lists, and who isn't, please give this video a like and please subscribe to this channel, as I will be bringing you all more top 10 and tier list content. So we're going to categorize these cards as in terms of value. Now, the value of these cards, of course, are subject to the popularity and the population of these cards. So we're not going to really dive too deep in the popularity and population, but rather the overall value of what these cards sell for in their graded forms. Here it is. Without further ado, we have our tier list, S, A, B, C, and D. Now, the S tier will be all the cards that are over $10,000. All the cards that very consistently sell for over 5 figures will go in the S tier, the God tier cards that we all are chasing and love and know are worth so much money. The A tier list will be all the cards that range between $5,000 and $10,000. So still very, very heavy hitting cards. Definitely nothing to shy away from, but they did not quite make the S tier list. The B tier cards will be all the cards that range between $2,000 and $5,000. The C tier will be all the cards that range between $1,000 and $2,000, and the D tier list, if there will be any, will be all the cards that are less than $1,000. Do you think there will be any on this list? We're about to find out. So let's get started here. We'll just go right in order of the list they already have on here. We have a Gold Star Gyarados. Now, this is one of my favorite Gyarados cards, probably one of my favorite Gold Star cards, and that is definitely an S tier card. The last Gold Star Gyarados sold for over $12,000, so it is one of the best Gold Star cards you can get in a PSA 10. So that right there, folks, is S tier. Up next, we have the Gold Star Jolteon. Now, I believe this card sold for like around $3,400, so this is going to go right here in the B tier list. I believe this is from Unseen Forces, I do declare, and I think that the following evolutions from this set, the Gold Star evolutions, are probably going to be also in the B tier list, but we'll get to that here in just a minute. All right, here we have a Gold Star Mew. I guess we'll hit up all the Gold Stars first. And this Mew, I think, last sold for around $6,000, so that is going to be right there in the A tier list. I do love the Gyarados and the Mew and the fact that they are different energy types. I think that is such an awesome touch to these cards. And I think that's like most of the Gold Star cards are like that. Not most of them, but cards from this set. Here we have the Gold Star Pikachu from EX Holon Phantoms. And I believe this card sold for like $7,700, so that's going to go right in front of the Mew there. Pikachu and Mew are representing the A tier list at this moment. So here, next we have this Vaporeon Gold Star, and like I said, I think this is going to go right next to the Jolteon here, as this card sold for about $2,700, I believe. So it's going to go right behind the Jolteon. Up next, we have the Gold Star Regirock. Now, I think this card last sold for like just a smidgen over $2,000, so it just barely made the B tier list, right behind Jolteon there, right behind Vaporeon there. Here we have the Latios and Latios cards, the Gold Stars, and I think these are both around like somewhere $2,400, $2,500. So those are going to go right behind Jolteon, both of those. It was tough to get data on those cards, but I do believe they're going to be between $2,000 and $5,000 for a PSA 10, but that is subject to change. Here, up next, we have a Gold Star Espeon. Oh, what a heavy-hitting, beautiful card here. Definitely up there with Gyarados in the S tier. I do believe this card is over $10,000. That's what it sells for. All right, getting some Crystal cards here. Finally, we have a Crystal Kingdra. I believe this is from the Aquapolis set, and I think this sells for about $2,400, $2,500. So that's going to go right there, right behind the Latios card. Yeah, so I think the B tier level is going to have a majority of the cards. Up next, we have the Crystal Lugia from Aquapolis. Now, this card used to go for a little bit over $10,000, but lately it's been going in the $7,000 range. So we're going to put that right between the Pikachu and the Mew. Still a very strong contender to someday be in the S tier, but for right now, it's been consistently selling for between $5,000 and $10,000. All right, continuing on with crystal cards, the Crystal Charizard, of course, that is going to be the top of the S tier at this moment. This card last sold, I believe, yes, $18,600, so it definitely beats the Gyarados and the Espeon at this time, and it is definitely the S tier card. All right, up next, Crystal Crobat. This is going to be our first card to go in the C tier. I believe around $1,800 was the last price this card sold for. It's a Crobat, folks. I mean, some of these cards, the popularity just isn't there. Even though it is a crystal card in PSA 10, it's going to be a little bit less than $2,000. So our first C tier card in Crystal Crobat, and then behind that bad boy is the Crystal Golem, which sells for a little bit over $1,000. So I think the Crystal Golem is probably going to be our least expensive crystal card ever, at least for a while. It's just, yeah. The popularity is not there with those two guys. All right, here we have the Crystal Ho-Oh. I believe that sells for around $3,700-ish, which is surprising. I thought it would sell for a little bit more considering what Pokemon it is. So we're gonna put that right. Behind the Vaporeon. No, we're gonna put that in between the Vaporeon and the Jolteon there. I think that is definitely an awesome card. Oh, here, look at this. We already know where this bad boy's going. The Gold Star Rayquaza. Most recently, I'm talking within the past week, sold for $40,000. Folks, I am pretty sure this is going to be the king of the list here. It's going to be tough to beat this card. Not only is it a awesome Pokemon with a super awesome artwork, but it's also a very rare PSA 10 to get your hands on. The pop report is very sparse for this card. All right, getting into some Shining cards here. The Shining Steelix, definitely the lower tier Shining card. We're going to put that puppy right in between Crobat and Golem. I think it sold for around $1,400 area. The last price I've seen it sell for. Up next is the Shining Raichu. I think that's going to be somewhere in the B tier list. I think we're going to put that towards the end. It's definitely the $2,000 to $5,000 range. Yeah, I think the Shining cards, spoiler alert, I think the Shining cards are going to be on the lower end of this list for the most part. All right, up next, Shining Mewtwo. Actually, I think this is like a $4,300 card as a PSA 10. So that's going to be the tippy top of the B tier list. Our first Shining card to really be doing well here. After that is the Shining Noctowl. We're going to put that right behind the Shining Steelix. You gotta wonder why they made a Shining Noctowl. Of all the Pokemon to make Shining, especially back then in Neo Destiny, you picked a Noctowl. And Noctowl never really sells for any staggering prices, and I don't think it ever will, but you gotta give it credit, it's still a Shining Pokemon. Up next, we have one of the very first Shining Pokemon in the Shining Magikarp. I think it sold last as a PSA 10 for $3,700, so we're gonna put that right behind Crystal Ho-Oh there. And then we have the Gold Star Alakazam, which sold for about $2,900 last auction I've seen. And we're going to put that guy right behind the Gold Star Vaporeon. Here we have the Japanese Shining Mew, the very first one. I actually had this on my top 10 expensive Mew list. And this last sold for $3,500, so we're going to put this guy right behind the Mew there, the Shining Mew. All right, we got a Gold Star Entei. This sells between $1,000 and $2,000, so we're going to put him at the top of the C tier list there. These Gold Star Legendary Dogs are the highest popped Gold Star cards you can get in PSA 10, so they're not going to hit any extravagant price points like the Rayquaza or Charizard will. All right, here we have a Gold Star Groudon. I couldn't find PSA 10 info for this card. I know the PSA 9 sold for around $1,200, so we're gonna put this guy between $2,000 to $5,000 for a PSA 10. So this guy will go in the B tier list. We'll just sandwich him between these guys right there. All right, up next, the Gold Star Kyogre. I think he's going to go right in the middle of the B tier list because this card sells for about $3,500 as a PSA 10. All right, back to the Shining cards here. We got a Shining Kabutops, and I think he's going to be the second most inexpensive card on this list so far, right in front of Golem at about $1,200 for a PSA 10. Yeah, for a first edition Shining Kabutops. Now, it's interesting to note that the Shining cards had a couple variations. You know, you had your first edition Shining cards and your unlimited Shining cards. With the Crystal set, you had the regular Crystal Holo and a reverse foil Crystal cards. And the Gold Star cards, they were just Gold Star cards. There weren't any other variations, you know, so it's interesting to note that the other two sets had different cards you can get as far as first edition, reverse, but the Gold Star cards were just Gold Star cards. There's no unlimited, there was no reverse Gold Stars, so I don't know, interesting tidbit there. Here we have a Gold Star Metagross card. And this was surprisingly expensive. This card went for a little bit over $5,000. So we're gonna put him up in the A tier list. I would not have guessed that for a Metagross, or Metagross, whatever you wanna say. So yeah, interesting. Also in the A tier list, I think is going to be this Gold Star Mudkip. We're gonna put him right in front of Metagross there. So yeah, we have 5 cards in the A tier right now. The Mudkip was one of the first Gold Star cards ever to be released in the English TCG. From EX Team Rocket Returns, you had the Gold Star, Mudkip, Trico, and Torchic, and they are very low pop cards, and they are quite expensive. So yeah, A tier list for sure. Here we have the Umbreon Gold Star, which is insane. We're gonna put her right behind Charizard there. Very, very expensive, definitely over $10,000 card. Up next, we have a Shining Celebi. It's interesting to note that Celebi and Charizard, I think, are the only 2 Pokemon to have Shining versions, Crystal versions, and then Gold Star versions. So that's pretty interesting. We're going to put Shining Celebi, or Celebi. I like Celebi better. I don't know. I'm going to say Celebi. Right in front of Raichu there. We got a Crystal Kabutops here, just barely making it over $1,000 as a PSA 10. So actually, it's going to go right behind Crystal Golem there. Kabutops does not get much love. Yeah, this is the least valuable card we've gone over so far. Here we have a Gold Star Regice, which I think is about $3,400 card. So yeah, we're gonna put that in the middle of the B tier list. I'm actually surprised about the Regirock, Regice, Registeel cards. I thought they'd been lower, but they seem to be landing themselves in the B tier. Here up next we have a Gold Star Charizard, which last sold, I think, within the past week for $22,000. Holy smokes. So we're gonna put this Gold Star Charizard right behind the Gold Star Rayquaza. It's the second most expensive Gold Star ever. And I'm not sure the Rayquaza will be dethroned, but Charizard's definitely up there as well. Here we have a Gold Star Flareon, which I think last sold for around $3,100. So this Gold Star Flareon's gonna go right behind the Gold Star Vaporeon, I think. They're gonna be pretty close. Up next, the Gold Star Torchic. Ooh, a PSA 10 Gold Star Torchic goes for a super high amount. I'm not sure which is more valuable, this one or the Gold Star Umbreon. Heck, it might even be worth more than the Crystal Charizard. I'm not sure. I'm going to put Torchic in front of Umbreon because I'm pretty sure if we had a sale nowadays of a PSA 10 Torchic, it would probably sell for more than the Umbreon. I don't know. That's a tough one to call. But bottom line here, it is definitely an S tier card for sure. All right, Crystal Celebi here, a little over $2,000. So that will go in the B tier list. I think right behind the Gold Star Groudon. And lastly, for our Celebi, or Celebi, whatever, we have the Gold Star version that sells for $2,300. So that will also go in the B tier list, right in front of its Crystal counterpart. We have the Gold Star Registeel card, which I believe was around $1,600. It was tough to get info on this guy, but we'll definitely put it right behind the Crystal Crobat. We have the Raikou Gold Star here, not selling for too much. I think it's a little bit more valuable than the Entei in the C tier list, so we're gonna put him in front of Entei. Shining Tyranitar, first edition PSA 10 is about $3,600. So he will be closer to the top of the B tier list. Shining Charizard, this card has fluctuated wildly in the past 8 months, but the last one sold as a PSA 10 for $17,000, so definitely an S tier card if I've ever seen one. Right in front of the Gold Star Gyarados. Speaking of Gyarados, we got the Shining Gyarados here that sold for $7,900, so this one here is an A tier card for sure. I would say the very top of the A tier list in front of the Gold Star Pikachu. Getting down to the last 3 here, we got the Gold Star Suicune, which is going to be the most valuable of the legendary dogs, so it will go in the top of the C tier list. This Gold Star Trico, I think, had a best offer accepted price at or below $9,400, so I think it's safe to say this Trico would be in the A tier list. We'll put him right in front of Mudkip there. I'm not exactly sure the price on that guy. And last but certainly not least, the Gold Star Mewtwo is definitely an A tier card. We're gonna put him right behind Pikachu there. And yeah, that is our tier list, folks. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 S tier cards that consist of Gold Star Rayquaza, Gold Star Charizard, Crystal Charizard, Gold Star Torchic, Gold Star Umbreon, Shining Charizard, Gold Star Gyarados, and Gold Star Espeon. So, folks, looking at this list, a majority of the Gold Stars they seem to be in the S and A tier. So if you didn't guess already, Gold Star cards are the most valuable and the most investable cards of these three groups. Simply because of their popularity, their population, the pull rates are very difficult for these cards. That's what makes them the top tier investable cards at this time. And it's interesting to note that none of these cards made the D tier list, which if you recall earlier was our cards that would be less than $1,000 if sold as PSA 10s. So yeah, a majority of the cards were in the B tier, which is between $2,000 to $5,000 for these Crystal, Shining, and Gold Star cards. But yes, our 8 S tier cards right up top there. What do y'all think of this list, folks? And another question is, what group of cards are your favorite? You know, price aside, are you more of a fan of the Shining cards, the Gold Star cards, or the Crystal cards? Let me know in the comments below. I do really want to know. Thank you so much for watching, folks. I had a lot of fun making this tier list, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. Please give this video a like, and check me out my next one coming out real soon. I will see you all then.